Hello and welcome. I'm Natalie with Tylaska Marine and Aerospace, and today we're going to be going over sizing and installation of our boom kickers. The easiest and quickest way to figure out what size you need for your boat would be to go to our website and go to the boat sizing section. The boom kicker has been installed on hundreds of different models of boats, so chances are if you have a reasonably popular model, you'll probably find your boat there. If not, we have our boom kicker models broken down into rough boat sizes. Obviously there are outliers to that. For example, if you have something like a scary cruiser where it's long and skinny, high aspect ratio main with a tiny boom, you'd need a smaller boom kicker than the boat length would suggest. The opposite is true of if you have a cat boat where it's a relatively short wide boat with a really long boom. Other outliers might be like a ketch or a yawl where you have a split rig, so you could have a 60-foot boat but have much shorter booms. The final and ultimate test on how to figure out what size you need is to weigh your completed boom setup. And the way to do that would be to ease your main sheet in your vang while the sail and sail stack and lazy jacks, anything you have that would normally be on there, have it all on there and just have it supported with a halyard. After that, you take a bathroom scale, put it on the cockpit floor, and you would basically stand on the scale and lift the boom like this, and that'll tell you how much your total boom rigging package is. And from there you can consult one of our charts. That'll tell you what size boom kicker you need. And again, if you have any additional questions or concerns, always feel free to call us or email us at any time. All right, so now that we've figured out what size we need for your boat, the next step is installation. The first step of this is going to be to mount your mast bracket. It looks like this, and as you can see, it has a mast slide, and that's how it affixes to your mast. It would go in your sail slide crack up here, and the trick is when you put the slug in, make sure you have a screwdriver down the bottom in case the slug goes all the way down to your bilge. Try to want to avoid that. Something to be aware of is sometimes these screws that go through are slightly wider than the groove in your mast. The way around that is once you figure out where you want your bracket to go, you would just use a drill bit that is the same diameter as the screw and just ever so slightly open that up so that the screws can fit through and this can be clamped to the mast. Next step after that is going to be to attach your boom kicker rods, which already have the end pieces on, and you would just put the pin in here and just have that end connected up, laid off to the side. After that, you're going to want to ease off your vang and use a topping lift or a halyard to get the boom so that the aftmost tip of the boom is 6 to 12 inches above horizontal. That's because when we're trying to figure out the mounting point for your boom bracket, you want to have the rods straight so that when the boom is back to horizontal, you have flex in the rods. So now that we have the boom up in the correct position, you would take your boom bracket that looks like this when it's not mounted to the boat, and you would put the pin in just like it is on here and get it positioned on the underside of the boom. Ideally, when it's in this position, you want to see you have plenty of room between your vang purchase system and your boom kicker. Aesthetically, ideally, you want it to be roughly parallel. This sometimes might require you to move your mounting point for your vang purchase system further aft on your boom. If that's not possible, as a last resort, you are actually authorized to shorten your rods. Depending on the model, you can shorten them between 5 and 10 inches. As a note, that will make the boom kicker a little bit stiffer, so you have a little bit harder time pulling, but if it's the best way to make it fit your boat, that's how you're going to do it. Other workaround is that if your mast for whatever reason doesn't have a track, you are also authorized to just drill and tap and hard mount the mast bracket to the mast. Once you are satisfied with the location of your boom bracket, you would basically mark where the 3 screw holes go. As you can see, you have 3 screw holes on there. So you'd mark that, swing all this out of the way, drill, tap, and then put your screws in. Once that's all situated, get everything reconnected, you can ease off your halyard, and hopefully, if everything has been done correctly, the boom will settle out to be more or less level like that. If for whatever reason the boom is sitting a little low, the quickest and easiest workaround is, I can show you again on here, you actually have, if you can see, 3 adjustment holes on the side. You can see them right here. And that basically gives you a little bit of fine adjustment to dial in the resting angle of your boom, where if you move the pin forward, it would, move the pin forward, it would raise the boom up a little bit. As an additional workaround if necessary, we do also offer both undersized and oversized rods for most of our boom kickers. So if you need, for whatever reason, a little bit less spring tension or a little bit more spring tension for your particular application, we can help you out with that. One other thing is, if you do shorten the rods, ideally just from an aesthetic standpoint, and you're a yachter, you care about what it looks like, is you want to take equal lengths off of both sides so that your boom kicker sticker stays right in the middle. Last couple notes on the boom kicker. Obviously, with this style of boom kicker where it has the boom track, you cannot have the boom rotate. On most newer boats, that's not really an issue. Some older boats do, even on larger boats, have a rotating boom. If you do have that situation, we do offer a workaround for it. This is a boom roll stop bracket, and it has a similar mounting procedure to your mast bracket for the boom kicker, and it just goes here and then goes onto your boom, and that prevents it from being able to roll, because if it does roll, it would try to snap this off. One last thing is, for smaller boats, racing dinghies, that sort of thing, instead of having a track, we just have this webbing on the end, because that's much more adjustable to varied diameters of boom. And the way that works is, obviously this boom is far too large for this, but it just kind of cradles like that, and that attaches to your mast. And then the way you set the angle is with this rope right here that also goes into the mast. Once again, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out and call or email. And until next time, I'm Natalie with Tylaska Marine and Aerospace, and I'll see you guys out on the water.